तब कथामृतम तप्त जीवनम कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलम श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति भूरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at Shampukur House in North Kolkata, where he was temporarily stationed for treatment of his throat problem. It was dated 18th October 1885, and a conversation was going on between Sri Ramakrishna and his chosen householder disciple M. Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And the topic was about incarnation of God. We have been discussing it for the last several weeks, and the central figure was a very interesting personality, Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar. Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar was the physicist, homeopathic physician, who was in charge of treatment of Sri Ramakrishna. He was of course not a devotee of God, but while treating Sri Ramakrishna, he became his ardent follower. That is the great advantage of holy company. Even a small amount of company of the holy people make us God oriented, and that's what happened here. The physician Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar was no doubt a renowned personality of that time, but was definitely not a devotee, and he was very skeptic about the phenomenon of God's incarnation. Now, at the outset, scientifically, you cannot establish that if God is infinite, Paramatma, there is one God in this universe, and Avatar says he is also nothing other than the God infinite. So the dichotomy comes how the infinite God can concentrate himself, condense himself to a finite form. It's impossible. The infinity cannot become finite. It's a contradiction of the term. But that's what has been said here in this spiritual the literature, that somehow or other this infinite God takes a finite form in totality. That is difficult to comprehend, and intelligent people, they outright reject this philosophy of incarnation of God. But Sri Ramakrishna, from the very beginning teaching of Mahendranath, said God can be infinite, and God can be finite, and God can be anything else, because He is infinite. We may not be able to comprehend, but the dimension of God is too vast to be comprehended with our limited capacity of mind. Nevertheless, Sri Ramakrishna instructed him that discuss the doctrine of divine incarnation with Dr. Sarkar. This was his instruction. श्री रामकृष्ण महेंद्रनाथ सरकार को बोले थे, अवतार की बात उससे डॉक्टर से कहना। अवतार वे है जो तारते हैं। He is an incarnation of God who redeem. He who liberates others is an incarnation of God. The difference. Now, what is the difference of incarnation of God and ordinary mortals? The major difference is we are born to become free, whereas God is never bound. Now, this has been discussed. The first question comes that we are all free. What is the additional freedom we want? We are not prisoners, we are not chained, we are free beings moving. What freedom is being talked about? Now, if you think deeply, that in totality we are not free. We are bound by some laws of nature. We know that whoever is born must die. We are not free to live as long as we want. Our lifespan is limited. Whoever is born must die. That's a natural law. We accept it. But there is another clause added. Whoever dies must be born again. That is an alarming message. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Jatasya dhruvam mrityum, dhruvam janma mritasya. The person who is born must die. That we accept. But he adds, dhruvam janma mritasya. Whoever is dying must be born again. Whether you want or not. Those who commit suicide, they don't want to be born again. That's why they take a departure, farewell to this life, little knowing that they'll bring him back to this world again, because he is bound, he is chained. What is that unseen chain? Our karma, our actions. Whatever we do has two results, good or bad, and we have to reap the harvest of that work, none else. This is the law of karma. We know many physical laws, many chemical laws, many scientific laws we know, law of gravitation. But there is a spiritual law also, that good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. Who sows must reap, they say, and cause must be born. Cause must be, the effect must have a cause, and cause must have an effect. Whoever sows must reap, they say, and cause must bring its sure effect. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. This is the law. जो बोएगा उसको उगाना पड़ेगा. जैसे बोएगे वैसे उगना है. If you do good deeds, you earn merit. If you do bad deeds, you earn demerit. And you have to suffer or enjoy, depending upon your own deeds. That we have been doing. So whatever we are having now at the moment is the result of our past actions. And whatever is doing now, then we will have the reactions in future. This law says, we are the result of our past, and the present is the cause of your future. This is a logical statement. Now what happens before our effect of this present work is started, this life ends. So the law says the life ends of this life, then you'll be born again with another body to carry on the cross from where you ended. The closing balance of 31st March being carried over to first opening balance of next financial year, 1st April, ad infinitum. So whatever you have done, good or bad, has a cumulative effect which you will have to suffer in this life or hereafter. And whatever additional work we do, that will continue further. This have been going on for centuries together. So it may be very surprising to realize that none of us is having the first birth, first human birth. We had many births before and possibly many births after. This has been very clearly explained by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 4th chapter, he starts that Imam vivasvate yogam praktabanam abhavyam. Whatever I am telling Arjuna, this is not the first time this knowledge is being revealed. This was long ago, it was revealed to Surya, Vivaswan, first time. Surya told it to his son Manu, Manu told his son Ikshvaku. And that's how it is by disciplic succession this knowledge is being handed down from generation to generation. But during this transfer of knowledge, it got destroyed, it got confused, diluted. So in order to restore the correct knowledge, I have been delivering the same message in a restructured way. The same knowledge is being retold. Now Arjuna immediately counteracted saying that Surya was born much before. So how could you tell this to Surya? Surya is not of this age. He is the past. In Satya Yuga. But now in Dwapar Yuga, how you say? Then he says, this is the statement which I wanted to say, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tabacharjuna tani aham veda sarvani nattam vyetta parantapa. Both of us have spent lot of births before. You have forgotten, but not me. That's what Sri Krishna says. So all of us definitely had previous births, but none of us remember our previous happenings. Our remembrance is also limited. We don't remember what happened on the first day of our life. So whatever is there, maximum this data of this life we have, nothing beyond. So this life also will have an end, and again we will have a beginning in the next life. So we are bound by this cycle of birth and death. This is the bondage. हम जंजीर से फंसा हुआ जीव है, बद्ध है, no way out. It's a very tragical situation. जब पहले हम सुनते हैं तब मन बहुत खराब हो जाता है और हम सोचता तो हम बहुत स्वाधीन हूँ, मुक्त हूँ, और ये तो एक फंसा हुआ एक कैदी का जैसे है, अपराधी. पैदा होने से मरना पड़ेगा, मरने से फिर पैदा होना पड़ेगा, छुटकारा कुछ नहीं है. Because you are bound by your own work. So the solution method has been searched. It has been said, if we can balance our work, that is, the good and the bad karma are neutralized. If the closing balance become nil, then there is nothing to open in the next financial year and we are free. And that's why I have been suggested to do good works and avoid doing bad works. So the effect of the good works will neutralize our misdeeds and make a balance. But it's a long drawn process. It's a very long time. अनेक जन्म संसिद्ध ततो जाति पराम गति होता है, बहुत समय लग जाता है. So naturally the people are interested to know any shortcut to get out of this bondage. The shortcut Bhagavan is giving in Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere. There is a shortcut available that God comes as a human being now and then. If we concentrate on the divine life of God, then we become free. A peculiar concession has been given. Like Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, I have been born here in Dapar Yuga as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and I was born in a prison of Kamsa. Then I was rescued on the day of my birth to the other shore of Jamuna, and I got the opportunity to get reared up there with Nandlal एवं उनका जो पत्नी है वृंदावन में जशोदा. So this is my divine birth. Now he says, Janma karma chame divyam jomam vetti tatvatah Tvakta deha punarjanma naiti mamiti soji. This is the chut, concession. Verse 9, chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. Instead of going this circuitous long route to liberate ourselves, the shortcut is, if anyone knows correctly about my divine birth and work, then he will become free. That is not difficult. If you know, we are learning so many things, just to know the biography of this incarnation of God, and that is enough. We may add this in whatever our list of knowledge is. The knowledge about the advent of God and His divine activities. Now, what is the big thing to know about the biography of Sri Krishna? It is available, very short. But it has to be properly reasoned out that how the infinity becomes finite. He is not an ordinary person. God takes this human form in order that we may be liberated. I said that we have two varieties. One is the individual and is God. We are born here to be liberated, and God is born to make others liberated. God becomes man so that man may become God. That is his mission. And we have to understand that if God is infinity, then how it could condense himself in a finite form. We know the picture of Sri Krishna, Rama, Buddha, etc. So how the infinity, that cannot be explained. That is called alaukik. The infinity cannot become finite, so God can never be born. Then what we see here? We see His appearance, not a reality. God does not become born by the biological process as you or I did. He is born, उनका प्रकट हो जाते हैं. He does not go through this biological process. We have to understand this. That's why I say you must know by tattvataha. In reality you must know. Normal data is given. He was born on Janmashtami day in the Kamsa Karagar. The normal data. But he cannot be born because he is infinity. How? Because the description which has been written in Bhagavatam, the birth of Sri Krishna has been recorded in details. What do they say? That on that particular day, the Janmashtami at 12 o'clock at night, the Sri Krishna was born in the prison of Kamsa. Now we know how the children are born in the hospitals and maternity homes. There is not a trace of blood. He came with fully decorated with ornaments, flowers, and dressed up. Beautiful, grown-up child with all hairs, smiling divine child with all ornaments and ayud. Four-armed person with Shankar Chakra Gada Padma. This is Bhagavan. Bhagavan Vishnu is appearing. So as soon as he appeared, everybody was just stopped to see. Now can you compare it? Like the birth of an ordinary child in a maternity home. So this was just an appearance, a alokik ghatana. And after that he started behaving like a child. And when he was born like this, then his mother knew, Devaki, that Bhagavan graced him by being born as if he was born. Appearance, not in reality. Bhagavan is never born. So when he was born like this, then gods and goddesses came and made praises. Devaki also was, Vasudeva with folded hands, they were praising their own child because he is God incarnate. Then Devaki prayed, requested that please withdraw all your divine powers and behave like an ordinary human child. Then God withdrew his powers and started weeping like a newborn. Similar thing happened in the case of Ramachandra. If you study the Valmiki Ramayana, same thing is written. You study the Tulsidas Ramayana, Bhai prakata kripala dina dayala. Prakat ho gaya. When Kaushalya saw the God incarnate, she was overwhelmed with joy. But then she requested with folded hands, please behave like a normal child, as if you are my son. Tab rodana thana. Then he started crying. Simply natak. Person was so much with deep smile, blessing everybody. Suddenly, the person, like a child, started weeping. And it was formally announced that a child is born. Every time, for all incarnations of God, the same thing happened. Study the life of Sri Ramakrishna. When he was born, then वो गायब हो गया, उनके दिखाई नहीं पड़ा. So the people engaged in this process, they were surprised. Where is the child gone? Simply disappeared. Then they found that underneath the oven, the child slept, it was smeared with ashes. Full grown, with smile. Then they washed him, and then he appeared as if newborn. Everything. So now here Sri Krishna says, whoever studies my life of Advent, he will become free. Janma, इसे दिव्य जन्म हो रहा है, अलौकिक जन्म हो रहा है, not ordinary. We cannot equate ourselves with God. God is different. So, janma karma chame divyam jumam veti tattvataha. In reality, proper understanding. Then what happens? Tyakta deha punar. Then when everybody will die, die means we will leave this body. You have to understand what is death. Death is not total annihilation. Death is not total, you disappear. We have a subtle body, which is called mind, which is housed within this sthula sharira, physical body, which is this body, physical body. When you die, the subtle body, our mind, and we have another body, that kaushal body, karan sharir, within this sthula sharira, a chain of three bodies, every one of us. The sthula sharira is seen before a mirror. That is our physical body. Within this physical body, we have a mind which cannot be seen but which can be felt. And within the mind we have a Karan Sharir, which is the storehouse of our samskaras. In the modern terminology, we have a computer hardware. It is like the Sthula Sharira. Then within that there is software, which is the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. And within that there is a chip, storehouse of all memory. So when we die, this Karan Sharira and Sthul Sharira, riding on the Atman, leaves one physical body, enters into another. So when the hardware corrupts, then software and the chip is transferred to another hardware. That's how it continues. This is the secret of transmigration of soul, Janmantar Bad. It doesn't vanish. It changes from one body to another. Now, when a person has acquired this knowledge of divine incarnation of God, then after his death, he does not have to go to another body anymore. He becomes free forever. That is the advantage of studying the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Why are we here otherwise? What is the difference of the book of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and other books? There are thousands of books available. Now the importance of studying this book is, by studying other books, you will gain knowledge. You will become learned. But by studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you will become perfect. You will become free. By reading other books, you will not become free. You will become learned. But here, by studying this book with depth, with understanding, that will enable you to end this long stall journey of birth and death. You become free. And the joy of freedom is the maximum joy that is available. मुक्ति का आनंद, जो मुक्त है वही समझता है मुक्ति का क्या आनंद है. जो बद्ध है उसको पता नहीं चलेगा. The prisoner within a jail can understand the joy of freedom when he comes out of the prison, not as long as he stays there. Nevertheless, we can understand that if we are somehow break this chain and become free, then that is the goal of life. That's why Sri Ramakrishna himself is saying, just try to imagine, he himself is saying that please propagate, tell others about my biography, avatar ka bare mein samjhana. Here also Arjuna, to Arjuna, Sri Krishna says, जो माम वेत्ति तत्तथा, those who know me, मतलब भगवान, अवतार. सो अवतार को लिए जानना जरूरी है. और भगवान क्या कहा, जो तारते हैं वही अवतार है. दिस पॉइंट वी डिस्कस्ड एट लेंथ इन योर प्रीवियस क्लासेस. सो नाउ आई वांट टू जस्ट स्ट्रेस that what is the big deal of knowing about the birth and activities of incarnation of God, because this effort, this endeavor, this work will enable us to become free and attain the goal of life. The goal of life is to acquire the knowledge of freedom while we are still in this body. मुक्ति का आनंद पाना ही जीवन का उद्देश्य है. मुक्ति दो किस्म होता है, एक विदेह मुक्त, अनदर जीवन मुक्त. One mukti is liberation after this life is over. Another is you attain this freedom, the joy of freedom here and now. That is the goal of life. इसको कहलाता है जीवन मुक्ति. And that one is विदेह मुक्ति. Like it has been said, you may feel that it is all bogus, but that is a reality, that if one dies in Banaras, Kashi, मुक्त हो जाता है. I need not go into the details, but this has been proved by millions of experiences of saints and seers throughout the ages, thousands of years, that Bhagavan Shiva is culpability present here, whoever dies there, even an insect, he will attain liberation because Bhagavan Shiv comes to and gives his darshan. भगवान को दर्शन करने से मुक्त हो जाता है. But we do not know. We believe or do not believe doesn't matter because we cannot ensure where we will die. You may go and stay in Banaras, but during the death time you may transfer somewhere else. So that is not the sure short method. The sure short method is know about the incarnation of God. Then they said, Bhagavan himself said, he will become free. So that freedom will be here and now, in this life. So to acquire that joy of freedom while we are in this body is the goal of life, and that can be safely and easily secured by studying the incarnation of God, not only of Sri Ramakrishna, any incarnation of God will do. But since Sri Ramakrishna is the latest and recent and most powerful incarnation of God, so this study makes us more interesting because it is related to this stage, this age. He is here. We are very fortunate to have an incarnation of God within our history, within our time period, about 100 and 150 years ago. Shri Krishna was born thousands and thousands of years ago. It is difficult to correlate his life with ours. But Sri Ramakrishna just lived a couple of 100 years ago, 1836 he was born, or 1886, hardly 150 years ago. So if you study deeply with grit, with interest, with sincerity, then this knowledge will enable us to become free. That's why the study of this book is so important. Now Sri Ramakrishna says that this avatar in our Shastras has been said there are 10 avatars and also there are 24 avatars. Now he says here, अवतार की बात उससे कहना, अवतार वे है जो तारते हैं, इस तरह 10 अवतार है, 24 अवतार है और असंख्य अवतार है. The biography of these avatars have been recorded in a book. It's called Srimad Bhagavatam, Purana, very famous book, composed by Vyasa. That Bhagavan ka Janma Katha. There not only the birth and nativity of Sri Krishna has been recorded, then there we find the record of all these 9 other avatars. And also there are 24 avatars. And ultimately there are innumerable avatars. But anyway, a knowledge of these incarnations of God enable us to become free. That's why it is important. So from next week onwards, we'll take sequentially the biographies of these 10 and 24 avatars. निरंजनम नित्यमनंतरूपम भक्तानुकंपाधृतविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमिड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामः. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम तत्सत्. श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Any question? Or else you can note down your question and send by email, rkml@rkml.org. You will be finding it in print also outside, and it will be answered. Let us close now with the chanting of God in chorus. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om Ramakrishna Hari Om. Thank you.